Olivia Wright rubbed her tired eyes and stared at the computer screen once more. The data made no sense. For 3 nights in a row, her instruments had picked up the same strange readings from beyond Neptune. At first she thought it was an equipment malfunction, but after running diagnostics twice, she knew this was something else, something real. Olivia reached for her phone and called her supervisor. "Sam, I need you to look at this right away," she said. Her voice was steady despite her racing heart. Sam Harris arrived at the NASA Deep Space Monitoring Station in Nevada 30 minutes later. His face grew pale as he reviewed Olivia's findings. The data showed 7 massive objects moving through the outer solar system at incredible speeds. They were slowing down as they approached, which meant they weren't natural objects. Someone or something was controlling them. "We need to alert Space Force immediately," Sam said. By sunrise, Commander John Blackwell of the newly formed Space Force was standing in their control room. He was a tall man with a serious face and short gray hair. He asked many questions and took notes on everything Olivia explained. "How certain are you that these are artificial objects?" he asked. Olivia pointed to the movement patterns on her screen. "Natural objects don't change direction or slow down like this. And look at the size readings. Each one is nearly a mile long. They're moving in formation and adjusting their course." "These are ships, Commander." John nodded grimly. "How long until they reach Earth?" "At their current speed and trajectory, about 8 months, Olivia answered. Within hours, the president was briefed in the Oval Office. The nation's top military and scientific advisors gathered to discuss the approaching threat. They decided to keep the information secret from the public to prevent panic while they prepared defenses. Dr. Alan Pierce was eating lunch in his office at MIT when his phone rang. As a xenobiologist, he studied theoretical alien life forms. Most of his colleagues considered his work interesting but not practical. Now the government was calling him essential. "Dr. Pierce, this is National Security Advisor Linda Powell. We need you in Washington immediately. A car is already on its way to pick you up." Alan barely had time to pack a bag before he was on a military plane heading to the Capitol. In a secure underground facility, he joined a team of scientists and military personnel gathered around a large table. On the wall screens were images of the approaching vessels, captured by Earth's most powerful telescopes. The ships were unlike anything humans had built. They looked partly mechanical and partly biological, with curved surfaces that seemed to pulse slightly. Their hulls were dark purple with strange patterns that might have been writing or simply structural elements. "What we're dealing with here," General Kate Martinez explained to the room, "is clearly an invasion force. These aren't explorers or diplomats. The formation and size of the fleet suggest military intent." A communications expert named Greg Nelson spoke up next. "We've been sending greeting messages in every format we can think of. Mathematical sequences, visual patterns, radio, laser. They've received our signals but haven't responded." "Maybe they don't communicate the same way we do," Alan suggested. "Their biology and technology might be so different that our messages make no sense to them." The room fell silent as a new image appeared on the main screen. One of the alien vessels had just destroyed an unmanned probe sent to make contact. The message was clear enough. Over the next few weeks, Alan worked with a special task force to assess what kind of biological threats these aliens might pose. Would they bring diseases humans had no immunity against? Would they release biological weapons? Or were they themselves so biologically different that simply breathing the same air might be dangerous to one side or both? "We have to prepare for every possibility," Alan told his team. "We need to develop broad-spectrum treatments and containment protocols unlike anything we've ever made before." While Alan worked with biologists and medical researchers, other teams around the world prepared for war. The nations of Earth, usually divided by politics and old rivalries, now worked together against a common enemy. Secret military bases hummed with activity as new weapons were developed and tested. Soldiers trained for combat scenarios no one had ever faced before. The president addressed the United Nations in a closed session. "We face the greatest threat in human history," she said, "but we will face it united. Our differences mean nothing now. We are all citizens of Earth." In her small apartment near the NASA facility, Olivia kept tracking the alien fleet. She barely slept. Her walls were covered with star charts and trajectory calculations. Sam worried about her but understood her dedication. They were the first humans to spot the invaders. They felt responsible. "They've passed Neptune," Olivia reported during one late-night call to Commander Blackwell. "Their formation has changed slightly. They're spreading out more. Could they be preparing for an attack? John asked. Possibly, Olivia said. Or maybe they're just adjusting to navigate through the asteroid belt more efficiently. The public remained largely unaware of the approaching danger. News outlets reported unusual activity at military bases and whispered about secret government projects, but official statements mentioned only routine exercises and scientific research. A few amateur astronomers spotted the approaching vessels, but their posts online were quickly buried under claims of conspiracy theories and hoaxes. Meanwhile, world leaders debated when to tell the public. Some argued people had a right to know. Others feared mass panic would make an organized defense impossible. They compromised by gradually increasing civil defense drills and emergency preparedness programs without explaining why. 3 months after Olivia's discovery, the alien fleet passed Jupiter. Something unexpected happened. Instead of continuing directly toward Earth, the ships adjusted their course toward Mars. This slight detour would add weeks to their journey. Why would they stop at Mars first? Sam wondered aloud as he and Olivia studied the new trajectory. Maybe they want to use it as a staging area, Olivia suggested, or they might need resources from the planet before they attack Earth. The news reached the Defense Task Force quickly. This change gave humanity precious extra time to prepare. General Kate Martinez ordered the International Mars Station to go dark. The small research outpost, originally built to study Martian geology, now became a spy station. Frank Carter and his crew of 5 on the Mars Station received their new orders with a mix of fear and determination. We maintain complete radio silence except for encrypted burst transmissions, he told his team. We observe and report only. If they detect us, we power down everything and hope they think this is an abandoned facility. As the alien fleet grew closer, strange energy readings began to emerge from their ships. Alan Pierce studied the data from his lab, trying to understand what the readings might mean about the aliens' technology and biology. Their ships seemed to produce an unusual radiation, he told his colleagues during a late-night meeting. It's nothing like our nuclear power or solar systems. There's an organic component to it, as if the ships themselves are partly alive. On military bases around the world, soldiers said goodbye to their families without telling them why. Engineers worked around the clock to build weapon systems designed to target the specific materials observed in the alien ships. Underground shelters were stocked with food, water, and medical supplies. As the first ship crossed into the orbit of Mars, humanity held its breath. The invasion of Earth was about to begin, and despite all their preparations, no one knew if they could survive the coming war. The future of the human race would be decided in the next few weeks. Olivia stared at her screen, watching the alien ships approach the red planet. She thought about all the people going about their normal lives, unaware of what was coming. Would this be the last month of human civilization? Or the beginning of humanity's greatest challenge? Either way, nothing would ever be the same again. General Kate Martinez stood in front of a wall-sized map of Earth in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Red dots marked defense installations while blue lines showed communication networks. Kate had barely slept in weeks. Her job as leader of the Global Defense Initiative meant coordinating armies that had once been enemies. Russian generals sat beside American admirals. Chinese technology experts shared secrets with European scientists. The approaching alien threat had done what seemed impossible just months ago. It united humanity. The latest satellite upgrades are complete, reported a young officer. We now have 97% coverage of near-Earth space. Kate nodded. And the orbital platforms? 12 are operational. 8 more will be ready within 2 weeks. In another section of the same facility, engineer Peter Grant wiped sweat from his forehead as he made final adjustments to a prototype weapon. The device was based on experimental microwave technology, modified to target the specific materials observed in the alien vessels. Peter had been working 16-hour days since being recruited. His wife Susan worked in the biological research wing of the same facility. They saw each other for meals and slept in a small room assigned to married personnel. It wasn't ideal, but they were together, which was more than many families could say. Try it now, Peter called to his assistant. The machine hummed to life, its targeting systems locking onto a test sample of material designed to mimic the alien hull composition. When activated, the beam caused the sample to rapidly heat and crack. Peter smiled for the first time in days. It works. Now we just need to make it work at orbital distances. Meanwhile, in the biological research wing, Dr. Susan Grant peered through a powerful microscope at soil samples from Mars. As a microbiologist, she had been studying Earth's microbiome for potential weapons or defenses against the aliens. The theory was simple. If the aliens had never encountered Earth bacteria, they might have no immunity. The same principle worked in reverse, which was why the medical teams were preparing for possible alien pathogens. "Look at this," Susan said to her colleague. "The bacterial growth rate in the Martian soil sample increases 300% when exposed to the radiation signature similar to the alien ships." She made careful notes. "It might mean nothing, but it's worth investigating further." Around the world, preparations continued in secret. Military bases buzzed with activity disguised as training exercises. Factories converted to weapons production under the cover of infrastructure projects. Food and medical supplies were stockpiled in underground facilities. World leaders planned for the worst while hoping for the best. On the International Mars Station, Frank Carter and his 5 crew members watched the approaching alien fleet with mounting dread. Through their advanced sensors, they could now make out details of the massive ships. The vessels were clearly designed for war, bristling with what looked like weapon ports and protected by thick armored hulls. "Energy spike from the lead ship," reported Diane Lee, the station's sensor specialist. "They might be scanning the planet," Frank nodded. "Maintain radio silence, passive sensors only." The station, originally built for scientific research, had been hastily equipped with stealth technology. Its heat signature was masked, and all transmissions were sent in encrypted bursts during times when the alien ships were on the far side of Mars. Back on Earth, public rumors about unusual government activity grew louder. Social media buzzed with conspiracy theories. Some got surprisingly close to the truth. When amateur astronomers began posting images of the alien ships online, the governments of Earth decided it was time to tell people the truth. The President of the United States addressed her nation and the world in a historic broadcast. "My fellow citizens of Earth, I come to you today with sobering news. Our scientists have confirmed that vessels of extraterrestrial origin are approaching our solar system. Their intentions appear hostile. I want to assure you that for months the nations of the world have been preparing. We face this threat united." The public reaction mixed fear with resolve. Some cities saw panic buying and attempts to flee urban areas. Others witnessed neighbors coming together, organizing community support systems. Churches, mosques, and temples filled with people seeking comfort. Young men and women lined up at military recruitment centers. Humanity revealed both its worst and best qualities in the face of extinction. At NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Station, Olivia Wright continued tracking the alien fleet. "They're establishing orbit around Mars," she reported to Commander Blackwell. "All 7 ships are taking positions on the far side of the planet, away from Earth." "Smart move," John replied. "They're using Mars to shield themselves from our observation." What he didn't say was that this also meant the Mars station had the best view of the aliens now. Frank and his crew were Earth-size, in more danger than ever before. In the command center, General Martinez received the latest intelligence. The aliens appear to be sending smaller craft down to the Martian surface. Mining operations, perhaps, or they're establishing a ground base. Reports from the Mars station came in coded bursts, transmitted when the alien ships rotated to positions where they couldn't detect the signal. Frank's team observed strange structures being assembled on the Martian surface. The aliens themselves remained unseen, working inside sealed environments. 2 months had passed since the public announcement. Earth's defenses grew stronger each day. The orbital platforms Peter helped design were now fully operational, forming a protective network around the planet. Ground-based weapon systems targeted the sky. Military forces stood ready. Civilian populations drilled regularly for emergency scenarios. In her lab, Susan Grant made an unexpected discovery. The Martian bacteria don't just grow faster in the presence of the alien energy signature, she told her research team. They produce a substance that corrodes certain metallic alloys, specifically alloys similar to what we've observed in the alien hull material. She immediately reported her findings up the chain of command. Could Mars itself provide an unexpected defense? The idea seemed far-fetched, but in this new reality, nothing was impossible. At Space Force headquarters, A junior signals analyst named Heather Lopez noticed something unusual in the data from deep space monitoring satellites. "Sir," she called to her supervisor, "I'm detecting faint transmissions between the alien ships. They're using frequencies we haven't monitored before." Within hours, the best linguists and AI systems on Earth were working to decipher the alien communications. Progress was slow. The language, if it was a language, followed patterns unlike any human speech, but certain signal clusters began to repeat with increasing frequency. "Whatever they're saying to each other, they're saying it more urgently now," Heather explained to Commander Blackwell. "The transmission patterns show signs of what we might interpret as alarm or distress." John leaned forward, suddenly interested. "Can you pinpoint when these distress patterns began?" Heather checked her data. "About 3 days ago. It corresponds with when they landed on the Martian surface." Something was happening to the aliens, something they hadn't planned for. The invasion timeline appeared to be delayed. Earth had precious extra time to prepare, but no one knew why. The answer would come from the Red Planet, where microscopic life forms were about to change the course of interplanetary history. Frank Carter's next transmission from the Mars station contained puzzling information. "One of the alien ships has altered its orbit. It appears to be experiencing power fluctuations. 2 more are showing similar symptoms. Something is affecting their systems." General Martinez called an emergency meeting of the Defense Council. Representatives from scientific, military, and political leadership gathered to assess this new development. Dr. Alan Pierce presented his theory based on Susan Grant's research. "It's possible," he explained, "that organisms in the Martian soil are affecting the alien technology. These microbes have evolved in Mars's harsh environment and might be interacting with the alien biology or technology in ways they never anticipated." The room fell silent as the implications became clear. Had the aliens, in their arrogance, overlooked the possibility that Mars might harbor life dangerous to them? Was the Red Planet inadvertently defending Earth? Frank Carter floated to the observation window of the International Mars Station and watched the alien ships through his binoculars. The largest vessel was now moving erratically, its once smooth orbit becoming unstable. Strange flashes of light appeared across its hull, like electrical shorts or small explosions. Frank motioned for Diane to join him. "Look at the third ship," he whispered, though there was no way the aliens could hear them through the vacuum of space. "See those darker patches on the hull? They weren't there yesterday." Diane nodded. "The patches are spreading too. The material looks degraded somehow." Frank documented everything with the station's cameras. When the alien fleet rotated to the far side of Mars, he transmitted the images to Earth in a quick encrypted burst. These observations might be crucial to understanding what was happening to the invaders. On Earth, the message center buzzed with activity as Frank's transmission arrived. The images were immediately forwarded to the science team led by Dr. Alan Pierce and Dr. Susan Grant. Susan gasped when she saw the dark patches on the alien hulls. "Those discoloration patterns match exactly what happened to our test samples when exposed to the Martian bacteria," she explained to the room full of scientists and military personnel. "The microbes are somehow corroding their hull material." Alan studied the images carefully. The aliens must have brought samples aboard their ships, not realizing the danger. If their vessels are partly biological, as we suspect, the bacteria could be spreading through their systems like an infection. In another part of the facility, Heather Lopez and her team continued their work decoding the alien transmissions. With help from advanced AI systems and linguistic experts, they were beginning to understand fragments of the communications. "We've identified repeating patterns that likely represent distress signals," Heather explained to Commander Blackwell, "and these sequences here appear to be about their biological systems failing. If our translations are correct, they're experiencing some kind of plague or infection." John's face remained serious, but a small spark of hope appeared in his eyes. "Keep working on the translations. I want to know everything they're saying to each other." General Kate Martinez brought this news to the Global Defense Council. Representatives from major nations listened intently as she explained the situation. "The aliens appear to be suffering from an unexpected complication. Martian microorganisms are damaging their ships and possibly affecting the aliens themselves. Could this stop the invasion entirely?" asked the British representative. Kate shook her head. "It's too soon to tell. We continue preparing for the worst while monitoring the situation." In their small quarters, Peter and Susan Grant discussed the latest developments during a rare moment together. "It's almost poetic," Peter said. "They came all this way to destroy us, and they might be defeated by the smallest life forms in our solar system." Susan looked thoughtful. "The Martian bacteria evolved in extreme conditions. They can survive radiation, cold, and near vacuum. They're incredibly hardy. The aliens probably have nothing like them in their home world. Do you think the bacteria could affect us too?" Peter asked. "Unlikely," Susan replied. "Earth organisms have dealt with similar bacteria throughout our evolution. We have natural defenses, but these aliens might have never encountered anything like them before." Back at the Mars station, Frank and his crew continued their observations. The situation with the alien fleet was deteriorating rapidly. One smaller vessel had detached from the main fleet and was moving away, possibly trying to escape the contamination. Two larger ships had drawn closer together, perhaps attempting to share resources or assist each other. "Energy readings from the flagship are fluctuating wildly," reported Steve Johnson, the station's engineer. "Their power systems seem to be failing." Frank documented everything. "Are they making any attempts to land on Mars again?" "No," Diane answered. "All surface operations appear to have been abandoned. The structures they were building have been left unfinished." On Earth, military leaders debated whether to launch a preemptive strike against the weakened invaders. Some argued this was their best chance to eliminate the threat completely. Others, including Dr. Alan Pierce, urged caution. "We don't know enough about their capabilities even in their weakened state," Alan argued during a tense meeting. "And attacking might force them to reveal technologies we're not prepared for. The natural defense seems to be working. We should let it continue." The president listened to all sides before making her decision. "We will maintain defensive positions only. Continue monitoring the situation. If the aliens show signs of recovery or aggression, we can reevaluate." Days passed. The condition of the alien fleet worsened. Through the Mars station's powerful sensors, Frank and his crew watched as internal explosions rocked several of the vessels. The alien communications became increasingly frantic and disorganized. Heather's team had made significant progress decoding the transmissions. "They're in full panic mode," she reported. "Their life support systems are failing. The biological components of their ships are dying. They're trying desperately to find a cure or containment method. But nothing is working." In the science lab, Susan had been working with samples of the Martian bacteria, trying to understand exactly how they affected the alien materials. "The microbes produce an enzyme that breaks down the molecular bonds in the aliens' biomechanical systems," she explained to her colleagues. "It's like an accelerated form of rust, but specifically targeting their technology." Alan added, "The aliens seem to use a biological-mechanical hybrid technology. Their ships aren't just vessels they travel in. They're more like extensions of the aliens themselves. When the ships get sick, the aliens get sick too." News of the aliens' plight spread through the highest levels of Earth's governments. Some officials felt pity for the invaders, despite their hostile intentions. Others saw it as justice. Most were simply relieved that Earth might be spared. The president made a bold decision. "We need to learn as much as possible from this situation. I'm authorizing a mission to Mars to recover samples and data from the alien vessels." Military leaders selected a small team for this dangerous mission. Special Forces Colonel Ryan Cooper would lead the operation. Dr. Alan Pierce would join as the scientific expert. They would travel aboard Earth's most advanced stealth spacecraft, designed specifically for the mission. "Your objective is to retrieve technological samples and biological specimens," General Martinez instructed the team. "This is not an attack mission. You will observe, collect, and return. Avoid confrontation with any surviving aliens, unless absolutely necessary for your safety." As preparations for the mission began, the situation around Mars reached a critical point. One of the largest alien vessels exploded, the blast visible even from Earth's telescopes. Two others collided in their erratic movements, causing catastrophic damage to both. The remaining ships appeared to be attempting to retreat, but their propulsion systems were clearly compromised. Frank sent an urgent transmission from the Mars station. "The flagship is showing signs of a core meltdown. Whatever powers their ships is becoming unstable. We're detecting radiation levels rising rapidly." Earth held its breath. Would the alien fleet be completely destroyed? Would some escape to warn others of their kind? And what would humanity learn from this unexpected victory? Ryan Cooper's team completed their final preparations. The mission to Mars would launch within hours. They would be the first humans to ever board an alien vessel. What they discovered there would change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. The stealth spacecraft venture launched from Earth under cover of darkness. Colonel Ryan Cooper strapped himself into the commander's seat, while Dr. Alan Pierce checked his scientific equipment one final time. 4 other crew members completed the team: weapons specialist Lisa Murray, engineer Paul Wilson, medical officer Donna Reed, and pilot Nick Garcia. Their mission was unprecedented in human history: board an alien vessel and recover technology and biological samples. Approaching Earth orbit, Nick reported from the pilot's seat. Stealth systems active. The Venture was Earth's most advanced spacecraft, developed in secret even before the alien threat was discovered. Its hull absorbed radar instead of reflecting it. Its engines left almost no heat signature. It was as invisible as human technology could make it. Ryan addressed his team. Our target is the disabled alien vessel in high Mars orbit. Intelligence suggests it's one of the least damaged ships in their fleet. We estimate minimal crew survival based on their communications. Remember your training. We go in, we get what we need, and we get out. The journey to Mars would take 2 weeks using the Venture's experimental engines. In normal times, this would be considered incredibly fast. With the alien threat looming, it felt painfully slow. Back on Earth, the Situation Room remained active around the clock. General Kate Martinez rarely left, catching short naps on a cot in her office. The alien fleet continued to deteriorate. 3 ships had been completely destroyed by internal explosions. 2 were drifting helplessly. The remaining 2 appeared to be attempting repairs, but their efforts seemed increasingly desperate. Latest transmission decoding, Heather Lopez reported, handing Kate a tablet. They're discussing abandoning their vessels. Some kind of emergency escape protocol. Kate studied the information with a frown. Do they have smaller craft that could reach Earth? Unknown, Heather replied. But the Mars station hasn't observed any vessels leaving the fleet. In the science lab, Susan Grant continued studying the Martian bacteria that had inadvertently become Earth's savior. The rate of reproduction is remarkable, she told her colleagues. When exposed to the energy signature from the alien ships, these microbes multiply 5 times faster than normal, and the enzyme they produce becomes more concentrated. Peter visited her during a short break from his weapons development work. The Defense Council is debating what to do if some aliens manage to reach Earth, he said. Susan looked up from her microscope. We should be prepared, but I don't think it's likely. From what we've decoded of their communications, they have no immunity to these microbes. If they land here, they'd face not just the Martian bacteria that might come with them, but all of Earth's microorganisms too. At the Mars station, Frank Carter and his crew maintained their observation posts. Movement from Ship 4, Diane reported. They've opened what appears to be a bay door. Frank quickly focused the station's cameras on the alien vessel. Are they launching smaller craft? Negative, Steve replied after studying the sensor readings. No craft detected. The opening seems to be venting something into space. Frank zoomed in with the cameras. They're ejecting their dead, he said quietly. The images showed dark shapes being pushed out into the vacuum of space. The aliens were disposing of their casualties, perhaps to prevent further spread of infection. The Venture was halfway to Mars when one of the 2 remaining functional alien ships suddenly exploded. The blast was massive, temporarily outshining Mars itself when viewed from Earth. Debris scattered across the Martian orbit, some pieces falling to the planet's surface. Did we do that? The president asked when the report came in. No, Madam President, General Martinez answered. Their power core appears to have destabilized completely. The infection must have reached their energy systems. Only 1 alien ship remained partially functional now. The others were destroyed or drifting dead in space. Earth began to breathe a collective sigh of relief, though no one declared victory yet. The mission to Mars became even more crucial. With most of the fleet destroyed, the opportunity to recover alien technology might be slipping away. After 13 days of travel, the Venture reached Mars orbit. Nick skillfully maneuvered the ship behind Phobos, one of Mars's small moons, using it as cover while they observed their target. There it is, Ryan said, looking at the view screen. The alien vessel was massive, at least a mile long. Its once smooth purple hull was now mottled with dark patches. No lights were visible from its exterior. It drifted slowly, rotating slightly in the Martian gravity well. Life signs? Ryan asked. Donna checked her instruments. Faint readings. If there are survivors, they're few in number and likely in poor health. Energy signatures? Ryan turned to Paul. Minimal power readings, the engineer replied. Their main systems appear to be offline. Some emergency power still functioning in certain sections. Ryan made his decision. We'll approach from the ventral side, away from their main sensor arrays. Dr. Pierce, which area would be most valuable for sample collection? Ellen studied the scans of the ship. This section here appears to be a research or medical facility, based on the power distribution. It would likely contain biological samples and data storage. The Venture approached the alien ship cautiously. As they drew closer, the scale of the vessel became apparent. It dwarfed their spacecraft like a whale next to a minnow. Dark patches covered large portions of the hull, areas where the Martian bacteria had corroded the material. I'm detecting an opening, Nick reported. Looks like a maintenance hatch or emergency exit. The door is partially open. Can we dock there? Ryan asked. Paul studied the readings. The opening is large enough for our airlock to establish a seal, but I can't guarantee the structure around it is sound. Ryan considered their options. We won't get a better opportunity. Take us in. Nick carefully maneuvered the Venture toward the opening. The ship's automatic systems extended the docking collar, which sealed against the alien hull with a metallic thud that resonated through the craft. The team donned their specialized environmental suits, designed to protect against both biological and radiological threats. Each suit was self-contained with 4 hours of air supply. They carried sample containers, cutting tools, and weapons. Remember, Alan cautioned as they prepared to enter the alien vessel, we don't know how these microbes might affect our equipment. The suits should protect us but minimize contact with all surfaces. Ryan led the way through the airlock and into the alien ship. Their helmet lights illuminated a dark corridor with curved walls that seemed to be made of a material somewhere between metal and organic tissue. The air was thin but present, suggesting emergency systems were still functioning. Gravity is about 60% of Earth normal, Lisa reported, checking her instruments. Atmosphere has high levels of methane and sulfur compounds, lethal without our suits. They moved deeper into the ship, following Alan's guidance toward the areas most likely to contain valuable information. The corridors sometimes pulsed slightly, as if the ship itself was breathing. Dark patches covered many surfaces, areas where the Martian bacteria had begun to consume the material. Life signs ahead, Donna whispered, checking her scanner. One signature very weak. Ryan signaled the team to approach cautiously. They entered a large chamber filled with equipment unlike anything humans had built. In the center was what appeared to be a containment unit. Inside, visible through a transparent section, lay an alien. The creature was roughly humanoid but with significant differences. Its skin was pale purple with darker patterns. It had 4 arms, each ending in 7-fingered hands. Its head was elongated with no visible ears and 3 large eyes arranged in a triangle pattern. 2 of the eyes were closed, but one watched the humans enter. It's in some kind of quarantine chamber, Alan said quietly, probably trying to protect itself from infection. The alien made no aggressive moves. It appeared too weak to be a threat. Alan approached the containment unit carefully, studying the displays and controls surrounding it. I think it's trying to communicate, Alan said as symbols began to appear on a screen near the containment unit. The ship's translation systems might still be working. While Alan attempted to establish communication, the rest of the team secured the area and began collecting samples. Paul examined the alien technology, carefully documenting everything with his camera. Lisa kept watch for any potential threats. Donna assisted Alan with the biological aspects of their mission. Through a combination of the ship's damaged translation system and improvised sign language, Alan began to understand some of what the alien was trying to convey. It was a scientist, one of the fleet's biological researchers. It had been studying the Martian bacteria, trying desperately to find a way to stop the infection that was killing its people. Ask why they came to our solar system, Ryan suggested. Alan conveyed the question as best he could. The alien's response came slowly, its life clearly fading. Through the crude translation, they learned that the aliens came from a distant star system depleted of resources. They had searched for a suitable planet to colonize and found Earth perfect for their needs. Their scans had detected complex life, but they had dismissed humans as a primitive species easily conquered or eliminated. The Venture detached from the dying alien vessel just in time. As Ryan and his team secured their precious cargo, Nick piloted the spacecraft away from the deteriorating ship. Behind them, explosions rippled across the alien hull. The massive vessel broke apart, scattering debris into Martian orbit. It was the last functional ship of the invasion fleet. Now all 7 alien vessels were destroyed or dead in space. "Everyone okay?" Ryan asked, checking his team for injuries. They had escaped with only minor bruises from their hasty retreat. "All samples secure," Alan confirmed, carefully examining the sealed containers. The data download completed at 93% before we had to disconnect. Paul was already reviewing the information on his tablet. "This is incredible. Their technology is centuries beyond ours in some areas. The propulsion system alone will revolutionize space travel." Donna monitored the biological specimens through the containment field. "The alien tissue samples are deteriorating rapidly. The Martian bacteria are still active. I need to get these to a proper lab as soon as possible." Ryan contacted Earth with their success. "Mission accomplished. We have recovered significant technology samples and data. One alien subject was encountered but remained contained. It provided information before succumbing to the infection. We are returning to Earth with all collected materials." The response from General Martinez came minutes later, delayed by the distance between Earth and Mars. "Excellent work. All alien vessels have been confirmed destroyed or disabled. Return home immediately. Full quarantine protocols will be implemented upon your arrival." The journey back to Earth was filled with careful study and documentation. Alan and Donna analyzed the biological samples, while Paul examined the technological components they had recovered. Lisa maintained security, ensuring nothing threatened the team or their mission. They all understood the historical importance of what they carried. On Earth, humanity began to emerge from the shadow of invasion. Public celebrations broke out as news spread that the alien threat had been eliminated. Religious leaders called it divine intervention. Scientists pointed to the remarkable coincidence of Martian bacteria being deadly to the aliens. Military leaders cautiously began standing down from high alert status. The president addressed the world again. "The immediate danger has passed. Through a remarkable twist of fate, our solar system itself rejected these invaders. Mars, long thought to be a dead world, harbored microscopic defenders that protected Earth, but we must remain vigilant. The aliens came from somewhere and others may follow. Today we celebrate survival. Tomorrow we begin preparing for the future." 2 weeks later, the Venture returned to Earth orbit. Instead of landing, they docked with a specially prepared space station. The entire crew and all materials would remain under strict quarantine until scientists confirmed there was no danger of alien contamination. In a secure video conference, Ryan and Alan briefed the global leadership on their findings. "Based on the data we recovered, these aliens come from a star system approximately 40 light-years from Earth. Their civilization is advanced, but desperate. They've depleted their home planet's resources and have been searching for a new world to colonize." Alan continued the briefing. "They detected Earth as an ideal candidate. Their scans showed complex life, but they considered us technologically primitive and easy to conquer. What they failed to anticipate was the threat posed by microorganisms. Their evolution never produced bacterial life forms similar to ours, so they had no natural immunity or even concept of such threats." Susan Grant joined the briefing from her laboratory, where she had been studying the samples returned by the mission. "The Martian bacteria that defeated them are extremophiles, evolved to survive the harsh conditions of Mars. When exposed to the energy signatures of the alien ships, these bacteria reproduced rapidly and produced enzymes that broke down the aliens' biomechanical technology." "Could they return with better protections?" asked the Chinese representative. "Possible, but unlikely in the near term," Alan replied. "The data indicates this was their main colonization fleet. According to the information provided by the dying alien, they don't have many ships capable of interstellar travel, and now they know Earth is protected by microorganisms they have no defense against." In the months that followed, humanity experienced a renaissance of unity and purpose. The alien technology accelerated human development by decades. Clean energy systems based on the aliens' power sources began replacing fossil fuels. Medical advances from studying both the aliens and the Martian bacteria led to new treatments for diseases. Space travel became safer and faster with adapted alien propulsion systems. Peter Grant led a team developing new defenses based on the recovered technology. "We need to be ready if they return or if others come," he explained during a project review. "The alien data suggests there are other civilizations out there, some possibly more advanced than the ones we encountered." Susan continued her research on the Martian bacteria. Mars was declared a protected biological reserve, its microscopic defenders honored as humanity's saviors. A permanent research station was established in Mars orbit, studying the planet's unique ecosystem while ensuring it remained undisturbed. Frank Carter and his crew from the Mars station received heroes' welcomes when they finally returned to Earth. Their observations had provided crucial intelligence during the crisis. Frank was offered command of the new expanded Mars research station. He accepted immediately, eager to return to the red planet that had protected Earth. Heather Lopez used her experience decoding alien communications to lead a new project. Massive radio telescopes were built, listening for signals from distant stars. "We know they're out there now," she told her team. "We need to hear them coming next time." 1 year after the invasion fleet was destroyed, the United Nations established a space defense force with General Kate Martinez as its first commander. Representatives from every nation served under her leadership, continuing the unity forged during the crisis. Their mission was clear: protect Earth from any future threats from space. In a ceremony marking the anniversary, the president unveiled a monument in Washington, D.C. It depicted a small bacterium alongside an image of Mars, with Earth in the background. The inscription read, "The smallest defenders of Earth came from our planetary neighbor. May we always remember that in the vastness of space, all life on Earth shares a common bond." Dr. Alan Pierce stood at the ceremony alongside Ryan Cooper, now promoted to general. "Do you think they'll come back?" Ryan asked quietly. "Eventually someone will," Alan replied. "But next time we'll be ready." The data we recovered contained star charts marking other civilizations. Some might be peaceful, others might not. Either way, humanity isn't alone anymore. As the ceremony concluded, the crowd gazed upward at the night sky. Mars shone as a bright red dot among the stars. Once considered a dead world, it had proven to be Earth's unexpected guardian. The red planet had harbored life after all, microscopic but mighty, evolving in isolation for billions of years until the moment its unique adaptations were needed to save its planetary neighbor. 3 years after the invasion attempt, humanity launched its first faster-than-light probe, built with reverse-engineered alien technology. Its destination was a nearby star with potentially habitable planets. Unlike the aliens who had come to conquer, this mission was one of peaceful exploration. The probe carried scientific instruments, cultural information, and a simple message translated into mathematical patterns: Earth is protected. The aliens had planned to invade Earth but died before reaching Mars. In their failure, they had given humanity its greatest gift: knowledge of the wider universe and the technology to explore it. United by the shared experience of nearly facing extinction, the people of Earth looked to the stars not with fear, but with newfound confidence and curiosity, ready to take their place among the civilizations of the galaxy.